Welcome to the AR-15 podcast. This show is for you if you just bought your first rifle or you've been building them for years. There's something we can all do to take our black rifles to the next level. My name is Nick Dooley. I am joined tonight by the Director of Propaganda, Joe. Joe's muted.
Still muted. There you go.
Howdy, everybody.
And then, of course, we have my delightful co-host, Garth.
How we doing tonight, guys?
Yes. And tonight we have a very special guest with us. We have Jason from Alex Pro Firearms. How are we doing tonight, Jason?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Thanks so much for joining us. And we will get into APF and all of those things in just a minute. And so, guys, we are a week into to 2026, and what a week it has been. You know, I thought we were going to have a nice calm year, but apparently things are kicking off with a bang. But as we go through, I know that one of the things that we do have a question on tonight before we jump into the main topic, and it's top of mind for a lot of people, and that is about suppressors. Because since $0 tax stamps are a thing now, I highly recommend, if you haven't, go ahead and start filing for SBRs.
Yeah, for sure. I still got to do my fingerprints. It's on my counter. It's on my list to do. I know. So I was going to do it a week ago.
But Garth, what was the question?
Yeah, so I've got a buddy that reached out earlier this afternoon, wanted to know what suppressors he should buy. He's never owned a can before, and now he feels it's the time. And I'm like, man, you picked a really good time. You know what's going on? He's like, kinda. So I filled him in on the rest and said, well, the tax stamp has went away. And so now the $200 you don't have to pay. But that means that, you know, the wait time is probably going to go back up to a few months because they're going to be.
They did 130,000 on the first day.
Yeah. And it's going to get more.
Well, we're
No, like they verified, stamped 130,000.
No, I get that. I'm just saying, like, people are going to start buying and stuff. They're going to, like, the guys.
Yeah, but if they can keep up at 130,000 a day, that's going to take a lot. That's moving pretty good.
No, I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying I think they're going to get swamped eventually. So if you haven't or you're considering buying one, definitely buy one. But my buddy was going, hey, I don't know what to buy. I want a 22 can and I want something that goes on a 223. He goes, do you have any recommendations? I said, I can tell you what I have, but that's only because Nick told me what to buy. So if you want to ask him, you should stop in the show at 8:00 tonight. I will ask Nick for you, and then we can both listen to Nick because I know what his recommendations are because I have most of them in my safe. But if a guy was going to buy a 22 can and probably, let's say, a 30 cal can, what should he look for in a name and price range and everything like that, Nick?
Well, so when you get into cans, you start to go through a lot of personal preference. And there are good and bad about a lot of things. I'm not saying there's like bad cans. There are cans that are better than others. And there are cans that do different things. So that's why when I'm talking to people about, you know, buying, you know, like, oh, I want to buy a can. Great. What are you going to do with it? You know, are you going to be running this, like, do you shoot a lot? And, you know, are you training hard and putting a couple hundred rounds downrange every range session? Because you're going to want a different can than if you're only going to go out and shoot coyotes with it and, you know, very slowly shoot, and you're more worried about weight than you are durability, because that's where you can move through different materials and things like that. I have a litany of cans because I have been buying them for a long time. When I bought my first can, I bought a can they don't even make anymore. It was a Gemtech Sandstorm. And that was a titanium can that I still really like. It's a good can. And, you know, I've had it for 12 years now. And then after that, I bought another 30 caliber can. That was a Lane Scorpion Magnum to run on 300 Weatherby Magnum that I still don't have threaded because it lives on a 308. And after that, I started getting into some more, odd and weird stuff. But when you're getting into a lot of these 22 cans, you're gonna be spent, or it comes down to how much you want to spend. There's a lot of really good cans out there. But most of them are gonna be around $300 to $400. And then up for a 22 can. At the moment, if you wanted a large name brand, have some recognition, I would say you could start looking at like a Silencer Co. Sparrow if you wanted that metal can that had a name behind it. If you were looking more on the economy side of things, there's some weird stuff out there, which I'm into. And like that Next Level Arms Varmiter, I have one that I bought for myself. And I know I have like 5 more in the safe that people have also bought since I started shooting it. And that is a hybrid can that starts metal and then goes to a plastic baffle stack that if you shoot it out, they will send through and will send you a new baffle stack for it for like $20. But I mean, we were there when they put over 5,000 rounds through one of those and didn't burn out the baffle stack in a day. So for the average shooter, you're not going to burn through that. Then going from there, it kind of comes down to what do you want to spend. I understand running a 30 caliber can over a 22 just because you're not sure what you're doing, especially if you're new to it. I don't know what calibers you're going to be running. And I have my personal preferences and what I kind of steer people to, especially if it's one of their first cans, because part of it will be picking a muzzle device system that you want to get married to if you're going to go across platforms. And there's a couple that I sometimes tell people to avoid. The old Silencer Co. system was not good. Then we started to move towards a lot of people went to Chemo because that was more open source. And now I would say look at something with a taper lock. I only have one can that has a taper lock for a quick attach system. Other than that, I run a lot of Yankee Hills. Personally, that's what I do because they're built like a tank. You can run them. You can beat the ever-living hell out of them. And I like the Phantom mounting system. It works good. It mounts well. It's not the best looking when you don't have your can on the end of it, but it's a secure mounting system. I've never had it carbon lock, unlike some of my other mounting systems I have. And they are a good economy can, but there's a lot of other options out there. That's just kind of where I steer people to.
No, cool, man. Like I said, I also recommended Yankee Hill to him too, but of course I don't take into consideration about the mounting options because a lot of people, especially in his situation, I'm assuming it's going to go on a coyote gun, so it's either going to go on an AR, or a thread on bolt action. So that's kind of the direction I leaned him toward as well, but I couldn't give him a reason why.
I would say, and I know you can do it, you can run your 30 cals all the way down to 22. Guaranteed you're going to get sick of, even with a quick detach, taking it on, putting it on another one, taking it off. Decide what gun you're going to use, buy the suppressor for that one first, and then move on to the next one. Because in my experience, it ends up on one and stays there, especially if you're dedicated to one type of shooting.
Yeah, I know that I'm an oddity in that because I have a couple 223 cans, and I don't always recommend people get into 223 cans right away, but I do move a couple of mine across, but it's mainly because, hey, this is on my training rifle. I'll run it with a can. My 11.5-inch front sight post gun, I'll run the same can across, but I do have multiple cans that I just will go back and forth. So I have them. I'll have 2 guns out for a training day and they'll both have a can on them.
and like we've said about other things, like people worrying about shooting out barrels and stuff. The average shooter isn't like you, Nick. They're not swapping stuff around all the time. So yeah, my recommendation is figure out what gun you're probably going to shoot the most and just go with that. And once you figure out if you like it, then move to another one. The other thing you have to remember anytime you're moving those suppressors from rifle to rifle is you have to confirm that 0. You can't just swap, because if you don't get the correct torque or everything back the way it was, you can change your point of impact.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
So,
and that's why I say if you're looking at a mounting system, to go with that taper lock, because the taper lock systems have the most repeatable for how they mount up, which like the new Yankee Hill SRX or RSX system is a taper lock that will kind of lock into the same place every time, or better than a lot of things. Like my old Gemtech that is a dual lug spring design is not the best at repeatable for pressure on everything. Whereas the Phantoms are a more rugged and they're bigger mount, but they lock in. The taper mounts are a better one, especially for precision. But Jason, you got anything to add on this conversation, or just listen to us wax poetic?
I'm a Surefire guy, kind of like you said. I invested in the Surefire muzzle device system years ago when I started buying cans, so I'm a little married to those. I have pretty good luck with re-zeroing and stuff like that. I don't have a lot of issues as far as stuff being way off as I'm switching cans around. Also, really have been impressed lately with the Silencer Co. Velo stuff. If a guy's looking for a dedicated, 30 cal or 22 cal center fire cartridge suppressor, we've been beating on them pretty hard on the law enforcement side of things, and they've been working really well. Also, we sell a ton of the Yankee Hill stuff. Is probably on the law enforcement side one of our best sellers. I think a lot because, like you said, price point is pretty good, and they're pretty robust.
Yeah, they're a tank. It's They weigh a little bit more, but you can absolutely beat the hell out of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that as I know that I am not the average end user of a lot of these things, because like now I've actually looked very hard at getting converting one of mine over to the Griffin dual lock system, just so I could put it on a A2 flash hider
on the birdcage. Yeah.
Yep.
I like that idea. That one, just because of how many rifles come with that birdcage on it, to just be able to pop something right on there is a great idea. And I don't remember who it was earlier in the chat said something about buying one. Check out the big companies, online companies that sell suppressors, because they're almost always running a buy a suppressor, get the 22 long rifle suppressor free. And now that you don't have a stamp to go with it, I don't think it matters when you go to a 22 long rifle can. They're fun, they're quiet, like almost movie quiet. So look into that. Then if you want a 22 long rifle can, it doesn't really matter. Get your 30 cal or your 223 can and get the free one with it. I mean, probably not the best quality or going to be the greatest, but it's something.
I'm sorry, it's the Griffin gate lock is the system, not the dual lock. But that was beside the point. But no, you're right. 22 cans are just fun. I have them, and actually I prefer 22 cans on a pistol over a rifle, because then it is really quiet. And I've found a lot of people get disappointed with K cans if they're buying their first can, because they don't realize exactly how loud a K can is. K can, for much like everything else, is loud, or louder because you give up volume. So I think that answers the question.
No, I think you guys
call Nick. He'll set you in the right spot.
I'm sorry, I blacked out for a second. What just happened?
Exactly.
All right. So now that we have gone down that rabbit hole, Jason, tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so my name is Jason. I've been with APF since 2014. I grew up in southern Iowa. ended up in Minnesota here. So my parents bought a fishing resort and figured, hey, I'm a young guy, I'll come help do that, and ended up landing a job at a local gun shop, and was always interested in that stuff. Grandpa was a conservation officer and kind of a gun nut. Dad was an avid outdoorsman, that kind of stuff. So was my other grandfather. And so it just kind of was a natural fit, and found the gun world, I guess you could say, on the sale side, and just kind of ran with it and had the opportunity to move over here to APF in 2014.
Right on. So 2014, you moved over and kind of been involved in the outdoors your whole life. So then with APF, now tell us a little bit about APF. So for somebody who's never heard of Alex Pro Firearms, I know that we were talking a little bit before we came on. I know, Garth, you've owned one or have one.
I don't have it anymore. I owned one years ago. That was actually my first AR pistol I ever owned, was a Alex Pro.
Nice.
So
yep. And so if and I've had a lot of them come through. We were talking there. I said, yeah, I've sold quite a few of them, but I don't work on them, which is a good thing.
That is a good thing. We like to hear that. Definitely. I mean, one nice thing with us is if something ever does happen, it's a lifetime warranty, right? So if it's the gun's fault, we're going to fix it. We're going to take care of it. Kind of no questions asked. You run it over with your truck, kind of not covered, but we'll probably still help you out.
Yep. So for somebody who doesn't know anything about Alex Pro, what tell me about APF, like a little bit of the backstory of the company, how you guys came into being, and where you're at now.
Yeah, so like I said, we started in 2014, kind of an offshoot from a manufacturing facility that was already doing a fair amount of parts. Started doing our own brand, and started with your 5.56 16-inch carbine type rifle, which has now morphed into 3 different platforms: AR-15, AR-10, and we have our own what we call MLR, which is a Magnum-based platform. And we actually offer 18 different calibers currently. Have done a lot more in the past, but some, just from a sales standpoint or functionality standpoint, we've kind of done away with. So yeah, currently, like I said, running about 18 different calibers on 3 platforms, making everything in-house. We have about a 40,000 square foot manufacturing facility where everything is actually machined here right in Minnesota. So.
Right on. And that's always good to see. I know that I will be at some point here going to go into a bunch of detail with you about magazines for your MLR.
There you go.
I have questions.
I maybe have answers depending on what you want to ask. What I can share.
I promise these aren't hard questions. I know a couple other companies that have gotten into kind of that. It would traditionally be a long action cartridge, so anything 30-06 length or Magnum length. So like as the MLR 7mm rem mag and 300 Wim mag. So you're looking at that Magnum sized action, so a long action. And in doing that, I've seen some odd magazines that were kind of 3D printed in-house, or like one step above 3D printed.
Oh, yep.
And I was just curious about your guys' magazines.
Yeah, so we do a 5-round magazine, which is all injection mold polymer. We're actually working on a new variation right now to help adapt to some other calibers. But right now works great with the 5-round polymer mags that we designed years ago. Pretty much everything on the firearm is proprietary, as far as the upper, the lower, the magazine, the bolt carrier group, like that. The rest of it takes AR-10 components, which is nice. But from a mag standpoint, yeah, we are working on something a little bit different, maybe a little bit more capacity, ideally, and then maybe going to a metal mag. But currently, they are injection molded. So,
okay, yep, that makes sense, especially with what they are. I know that looking at it, I have a couple theories about how you did some things just by glancing at some stuff. With moving some geometries around, because I am an engineering nerd, but we don't need to get into that, because that will be stuff that bores everyone other than me.
Well,
Car
and the
size
engineering
already.
stuff goes a little over my head. We got Zach at the shop. He is real good with that stuff, but he starts drawing circles on his computer, and I get a little lost. So
Yeah, Garth was already starting to have his eyes glaze over when I was talking. So,
Hey, man, like I said, I'm glad there's gun nerds out there that you can talk with about, because when we get into the thick and weeds of it, I'm not going to go over here now because squirrel.
so that's going to be enough about the mags for a while, because I have some people who might be interested in just looking at them to see if they would be cross-platform compatible, which they may or may not be just at a glance, which would be a very big boon for a couple of those guys. But when we get into kind of your bread and butter, is still going to be the standard AR platform, right?
absolutely, volume wise, we sell, like probably every company, mostly 5.56, as far as sheer volume goes. We have a couple of models in that, we have our Ragnar and our Fury, which are both on a forged set. And then we have our Carbine 2.0, which gets into the billet receiver set stuff, a few more ambi controls and different lines and stuff like that. But I would say it's pretty close, one like our Ragnar and Fury, which are some very slight differences on that forged 16-inch nitride barrel type platform.
Yep. So your standard AR is kind of the bulk of what you're doing, where you're looking at like when you go through, and Ragnar's kind of your base model, I would say. Looking at your which is MSRP right around $1,100. Then obviously goes up from there. So your Carbine 2.0. Tell me a little bit about that as we go through. I'm going to bring it up on screen for everybody watching live.
Yeah, so the Carbine 2.0 is our first step or first rifle that we offer in the what we call our mid-tier receiver set, and it's a billet upper and lower, ambi controls on there, so selector and then bolt release, has our drop-in 4.5-pound trigger, our 13-inch M-LOK style handguard, 16-inch mid-length nitride barrel, adjustable gas block, diamond honed nitride VCG, and then some mag pull furniture. The one on the screen there is got a fancy paint job on it. One of our Cerakote guys whipped that up one day.
Oh yeah, and then you can get it in just basic colors too.
Yep. Yeah. So we Cerakote everything in house. So everything comes black, and then we can do whatever kind of color you want. We offer about 10 different colors standard, and then we start getting into some fancier stuff, which is obviously going to be like an upcharge.
Which I'm glad you do, honestly, because there's nerds like me that go, I have a black rifle, but now I have something cool like pink or blue or green, something just off the wall that just sparks your interest. So props
for the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, I sell more colored guns hands down than even come close to selling black guns, like in total across the board. Because I mean, everybody's kind of over the thing of, oh, you can't have a different colored gun. It's like, well, why not?
Exactly.
Oh no, it makes total sense to have that where you can kind of have it to accentuate your personality. And
we've done some wild and crazy stuff. Hunter is very, very talented when it comes to Cerakote. One of our best sellers for a couple of years in a row was one called Tactical Mermaid from Cerakote.
Nice.
We ordered as kind of a joke, and it's a purple color, and it works very well.
It took off like wildfire. Cool.
No, it is cool to see that, and it's good to see that you're going through, and we were talking about doing adjustable gas blocks, kind of a necessity, and you said you guys are making your own drop-in triggers.
Yeah, so that in the particular rifle we were just looking at, it's a 4.5 pound. We also have a 3.5 pound variation. So we have two different drop-in trigger options.
Right on. So it's I wasn't aware you guys were making your own drop-in cassette style triggers, or cassette style for lack of a better term. But that is good to know, because triggers are kind of, the barrel's the heart of the rifle, and triggers your first interface with the rifle. So it can be very much so a like your first interaction you have with it is you you go through and you're getting that good trigger contact, and having a good trigger release that breaks the right spot is paramount to having, a good shooting experience.
Yeah, we always figure that that's one of the first things that a guy is going to, like you said, see and feel and kind of try out. But also, it's one of the probably the most changed out accessories in the AR. So we kind of figured, why not just put something good in there right off the bat?
Yep, and that is good because there is a definite market for having that where you have your premium rifle and you get it out of the box and you don't have to do any changes to it. Because the AR platform is adult Legos. There are people who don't want to have to, oh, hey, now I don't have to change anything. So you can buy it out of the box and it's, hey, this is exactly what I wanted and it's all set up, ready to go. And now you have that heirloom rifle ready to go where, nope, hey, this shoots exactly what I want it to do and not going to change a thing. I know that Garth was just doing the, yay, that's me.
Oh, it's me 100%. Why do I need to become the Lego master when there's already so many companies out there that can do it way better than I can?
Nope. And
yeah, we take a lot of custom orders, on that standpoint, right? Where it's, hey, I want this Cerakote pattern on this gun, and just kind of we allow guys to tweak things here and there, as long as it's something that we're currently using.
That's good. I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah, no, it really, really is. And in running with it, I know, like most of them I've seen from the couple guys ordering them around here, they've either done some camo packages because they were ordering a varmint series gun or something like that, where their whole idea was they were going to go out and use it primarily for shooting coyotes, or in case one guy's like, no, this is my new 4-wheeler gun, I'm just going to have it for riding around the ranch, and if I see a coyote or a prairie dog or anything like that, it was just going to be his one he carried with him. And that one he actually got on your AR-10 platform. Okay. That was a 243 that he's had and has been very happy with.
That's been a hot round as of late for us.
I know that one of the first ones that I saw from you guys, and this was years ago, mainly because of where we live, was 22-250. And we have a lot of crazy 22-250 heads over here. And finding
that one has been great for us. I mean, it's one of our better sellers year in and year out. The volume isn't quite as high, but they are a little bit more of an expensive rifle, so it's always up there on the reports. When you run them at the end of the year to kind of see what you sold the most of, and that one's up there pretty high.
Yep, and because again, this is just from my personal experience seeing it. I would always get asked about 22-250 stuff, and I would go, I mean, you can find them, and it's if you look around, it's you go talk to APF, and back in the day, Olympic used to offer one, I think.
And yeah, years and years ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. And Dusky came up in the comments here. He's like, how long have they been making rifles, and has that been their primary focus? ARs? Sorry if you answered that already, and I believe the answer was since 2014. And yes, they are an AR company, bud.
Yeah, making parts for a little longer than that, technically, for some other companies, but yeah, 2014 we've been making rifles complete.
Yeah, and that is awesome to see, just because sticking around for a while and having some staying power in the industry is good to see, because I like to see companies that have been around and you're not going anywhere.
Oh yeah, and it's been a roller coaster. We've been through a couple of interesting elections. We've been through COVID. I mean, there's some ups and some slumps, and but that's one nice thing about having the varying selection that we do is we're not limited to just running and gunning with price point 5.56s. It's we have other stuff that keeps us busy, kind of more steady across the years. Yeah,
I've always said that I've said often that we kind of live in the golden age of guns right now. Like you can buy a solid rifle for, honestly, at $600 to $700 price point, you can buy an AR that's going to do a lot of really good things. And with that, but that's one where you're going to have to go in and start changing triggers. You're going to have to start, changing out furniture. And you're going to go to things like a VZ grip. And the unique features of VZ grips is they're machined from a solid block of G10. And G10 is great because it's durable and doesn't get slippery or covered with mud, blood, or sweat. 17-degree grip angle and wide variety of textures from mild to extreme, as well as color options and shorty versions are also available. 1911 grips with extreme customizability, standard swim palm tails, sun notches, safety kits, bottom profiles, and more. More than 25 textures and 27 colors are available. And there's one coupon code that is good for 15% off all handgun and rifle grips. And that code is AR-15 pod 15. It's the segue is a joke for the guys in the chat because they keep waiting to see when they're going to drink on the ad reads. But
nice.
It's when I was talking about getting into that, that's why when we were talking about the furniture and the triggers, with us living in the golden age of firearms right now, where you can get, a cheaper rifle and then build it into something, the heart of it will still probably be accurate, but there's always a place for what I call boutique manufacturers where, you're offering the Cerakote packages and the premium parts and a lot of the calibers. Because again, as I go through, I'll share the screen here because you talked about earlier, 18 calibers you guys offer currently, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So 18 calibers, when I pull up and go, all right, hey, we're going to look at by caliber. Another one that I've been asked about just from, again, our area, being out here in central South Dakota, 204 Ruger, I've been asked about a lot in the past because, well, it's a hot varmint round. And then there is, 22 ARC is huge. Of course, 223 Wildy and 5.56 NATO, 6mm ARC, Grendel, 6.8 Special. I'm going to ask you about that in a second. 300 Blackout, 350 Legend, and then you get into the AR-10 with 22 250, 22 Creedmoor, 243 Winchester, 6mm Creedmoor, 6.5 Creedmoor, and 308.
Yeah, and actually, it looks like it's not quite updated yet too, because we've added 338 ARC to the lineup here for 2026, and we've also done some runs of 400 Legend stuff for the straight wall guys out in Michigan.
That is awesome to hear. And so 400 Legends good, and 338 ARC is something I'm looking at getting into playing with, as well as the 8.6, just because I feel the need to play with that a little bit. But 6.8 Special.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me the truth. Are you guys still seeing a lot of those going down or going out, or?
I've got barrels to still do them, so it's listed.
Okay. That was kind of what I had suspected.
Yeah, not one we get much call for.
I was gonna say, I didn't figure that was one of your top performers.
No.
6.8 Special was a neat round when it came out, but it has one inherent problem, and that is the bolt. Because once you change the bolt face and get into some of those, it's not if the bolt will break, it's when. Just because there isn't enough meat behind it to hold everything together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's just a solid thing that happens. And, that's me going down a different rabbit hole about odd ballistics things. Now, so obviously you guys have been in business for over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you started with parts. So you build everything in-house, and we kind of glossed over that.
Mm-hmm.
And so you started life, did the company kind of start life as a machine shop or gun shop with doing some parts on the side?
Yeah, no, full blown machine shop. I mean, I'm not sure how many machines are even in there these days, but yeah, full blown machine shop. So, I mean, we're all the quality control parts, all the CMMs, multiple 5-axis machines, able to turn pretty much everything. And I should specify, we don't do, small detents and springs, and we don't do barrels, just because that's a whole other set of equipment. But uppers, lowers, handguards, bolt carrier groups, triggers, a lot of the internal bolt carrier group the actual bolts, firing pins on Swisses, that kind of stuff. Like springs and detents, we buy those because that's pretty tedious.
Yeah, and I love watching a 5-axis machine work because I'm a nerd, and it's like, oh hey, look, the spinny bits can move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is not being from that world, and not necessarily, didn't understand it at all prior to working here. It's really cool to watch those things spit out finished parts.
Yeah, I the amount of machining that goes into a lot of these, people don't realize how fast a 5-axis machine makes things able to be machined.
Oh,
and then the ability we have, where I mentioned, golden age of rifle or firearms right now, it's because our manufacturing techniques and materials and technology have come along so far from where they were at. Like when the AR was kind of first tested in the platform it is right now, like 1956, that was still a dude sitting there looking at everything by hand and turning everything on a manual lathe in a mill. And it wasn't, okay, I walk up, I put the thumb drive in and push go on the CNC machine and start cranking things out. So all the tolerances have gotten tighter. And it's been able, especially since you guys are controlling it all in-house with your own QC program, that can lead to a lot higher small batch, and why a lot of the, like, I know I said boutique, but those things work, to a higher degree, because smaller runs generally mean higher quality control.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the other nice things too is we kind of control our own destiny at this point. I mean, it's we don't have to worry about supply issues on a lot of things. If I need just a handful of more or something, I can go back and grab them, type thing. It's not, I gotta wait for deliveries and all that kind of stuff. And being we do Cerakote, I mean, everything's coming off the machines raw. I can go right into the blaster to get prepped for Cerakote. So it cuts down on delivery times and all that stuff for us as well.
So have you ever had someone ask for guns in the raw?
Yes. Yeah, we do. We have had that just because guys want to get them Cerakote their own, or they want to Cerakote themselves. It hasn't come up a lot over the years, but it's definitely been something.
I sometimes am a fan of in the raw. So
yeah, I mean, I suppose technically, if a guy really wanted that look, we could clear coat over the raw with Cerakote, and it would be perfectly protected. Yeah.
I see Country Boy Guns here. He goes, I want to know what your coolest experience working with APF is.
Oh boy, I have got to do a lot of fun stuff. Put me on the spot a little bit here.
He's thinking about stories he's allowed to tell.
That is a little bit part of it, because things do get fun sometimes. So probably just in general is a lot of the traveling and stuff that I've gotten to do. A lot of the law enforcement agencies I've gotten to work with. Probably one of the coolest things we've accomplished was at a training down in Tennessee, where we were able to print a MOA group at a mile with our 300 Win Mag. So that was pretty impressive. Yeah, I know there's a bunch. So I guess the coolest thing I off the top of my head, I can't think, but yeah, there's been a lot of really good experiences.
I'm just going to say printing a 1 MOA group at a mile is beyond impressive.
Yeah. I mean, it's still like 19 to 20 some odd inches, but it's still takes a little while for that bullet to get there out of a 300 Win Mag.
It does. I've shot to a mile before, and like, okay, yep, I've hit targets at a mile, but we're not going to talk about how big those targets were.
Yeah, right.
It was definitely not a 1 MOA target. And
no, I want to say the target that we were shooting at was, I mean, it was 7 feet tall by 7 feet wide, and it had just probably a 15-inch circle painted red in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Just for an aiming point.
Yeah. And Dr. Scary Guy is going, you don't need to explain how MOA works on this podcast. I won't. But, I mean, we could, because we could talk about there's 360 degrees in a circle. And there's, 60 minutes in a circle. So that is how many degrees there are. But if we want to get into it, we get into second rifles, like 5-second rifles.
He will. So don't tempt him.
So on top of everything you guys build in-house and sell out the door, you guys do custom Cerakote too for if customers want to send you their uppers or their handguards?
Right now, no. We have toyed with that idea, but poor Hunter is very, very busy the way it is with the Cerakote. And so right now, no plans on doing that.
Okay. When looking at the website and it said services and it had all that stuff, I wasn't sure how that shook out. So, and you said you guys don't do your own barrels?
We don't do our own barrels. No.
What barrels do you guys run then?
So we use three main suppliers. So we use a company called Tactical Kinetics for a lot of our nitrided stuff. Great barrels, very, very accurate for a kind of a standard 5.56 barrel. We use ER Shaw for the majority of our other stuff, and all of kind of the oddball calibers, the 204s, the 22 ARCs, 2250s, 243s, and then we get into the carbon fiber proof research stuff as well on a lot of calibers, and that gets into the higher end rifles.
Okay.
Yeah, ER Shaw is a great barrel manufacturer. They're a very solid rifle. So that is, or Solid barrel. I've used them on a variety of different projects over the years, and they're
very, very few issues ever over the years.
No, they're definitely an incredibly consistent barrel manufacturer. So
Big
that
time.
is all good to know. We have more people popping up with questions for you. What's your favorite rifle to shoot, and how is it set up? So what's your APF rifle?
Ooh, well, there's more than one out there.
I know I'm asking you to pick your favorite kid right now, but we all have one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's easy.
I know what yours is.
Yeah. Probably my favorite rifle to shoot. I have a 12.5-inch barreled 308 pistol that I use pretty extensively for some medium range shooting, and then also actually for whitetail hunting. That it's probably going to get SBR'd when Minnesota changes their whitetail laws. But no, that's probably one of my favorite guns to shoot. It's got a Vortex Razor 1-10 on it, and then I run a Surefire 300 SPS on the end of it.
There's a fair amount of, I'm not going to say voodoo, because it's in an AR-10, the easiest way to get the 308 to run, 18-inch barrel, rifle length gas system. It just works every time.
Yep.
Then you get into 16-inch and things get really weird, and it has to do with dwell time and stuff like that. You have to do a lot more adjustments to the gas system. 12 inches seems to be the next like magic number for getting a 308 to run, because
I mean, I'm running on a mid-length gas system with an adjustable gas block because of the can, and I mean it runs great. I've never had any issues with it.
That the short barrel 308s, like Nick was saying, that's really kind of taken off in a few circles. I know a few other people that have talked about it, and it seems to be something that is catching on, and will probably catch on more, like you said, now that you don't have to pay the tax stamp to short barrel. Because I mean, 308 pistol, 308 short barrel. I mean, that's.
I know one agency that is running 308 or 12-inch 308s.
Oh wow!
What? They're on the coast, and they're doing it because they do a lot of helicopter interdiction work. And they're like, yeah, our SWAT guys want the 12-inch barrel because it's easier to be in a helicopter with. And I went, huh, that's neat. You guys are going fast at boats, I understand. But no, those things are just super good to see, because that I know a lot of states have weird laws, like you were talking Minnesota with their bottleneck, rifle cartridge laws. The states that you can't hunt with a rifle but you can hunt with a pistol in a rifle caliber.
That's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
Technically, the law has changed. Now it's a county
Up to
by
the
county
county.
thing. So we'll see here in March what the local county decides. But it's either going to have a real stock on it and be an SBR next year, or it's just going to continue to be a pistol.
Yeah, it's going to have that nice A3 brace.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I've heard a lot of people, because I would be willing to bet that's probably one of your more popular setups to sell is the 308 and 12, or a shorter version of some of those larger AR-10s.
We don't get we've sold a fair amount of the 308s over the years. It's kind of dwindled off. A lot of guys are going to like a Grendel pistol or a Blackout pistol just to save weight. A lot of guys don't like the fact that the AR-10 is a little bit heavier. Doesn't necessarily bother me. So kind of to each their own there. But yeah, we sell at least have sold over the years a ton of the pistols. Again, I have a feeling that's going to stop as the law starts changing in all these different counties, and guys can go to just a standard style or length rifle.
Yeah, and that would definitely be a good thing to have, because
Do
we
they
would all
still have-
prefer that.
Do they still have all the shotgun counties down south? Or did that get changed?
Well, that's what's been done away with. They changed all the counties south of the line, so the whole state is legal for rifle now nationwide or statewide. But what they've said is they left it up to the counties, because there was a couple counties that were like, no, that's not safe, we don't want to do it. So now each county board or set of county commissioners can decide, no, hey, we're staying with shotgun, we're staying with the existing rules, or yeah, we're going to follow suit with everybody. And there was a handful of counties that didn't necessarily want to do it
over GF&P.
Well, that was the only way that they could get it through, because there was a couple people that were like, nope, not going to happen. If it's just a law you're changing, we're not gonna let it go through. But if you put this in there, then we'll agree to pass it, and then we're just going to say no in our county.
But they're still letting them in a lot of those shotgun counties run AR pistols.
AR pistols are completely legal because it's a pistol, and the law book says any legal pistol is okay to use.
Yeah, so
no, I only asked because I grew up 10 minutes from the Minnesota border, owning a meat locker, and the deer season always started like 2 weeks or a week before the South Dakota one. Mm-hmm. And those shotgun deer coming in those slug deer were just shot up. So no, it's a good thing. And I can understand like some of those places where you're closer like to the cities, or there's a lot more like any sort of rifles probably borderline just because of the urbanness of them. Just knowing the state as I do, I can understand why some had their trepidation about it.
Yeah, well, and the really goofy thing that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to anybody that's not on the DNR side or the county commissioner side is, I can stand in a field with a 30-06 if I really wanted to and shoot at a coyote any time of the year. But because there's more people out there in deer season, they talk about safety. But even the DNR said it's never been about safety. It was about, they would basically wiped out a deer herd back when the law was originally passed. Was just to keep
don't issue as many licenses. There's ways to control.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you guys you're still a fight at the counter, not a lottery draft, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
yeah. Technically, in the zone that I hunt, which is actually a couple different counties, I want to say between all of the seasons, we could have shot eight antlerless deer this year if we really, really wanted to. 5 to 8. I don't remember. It was too many.
That's how you decimate your deer herd, not by allowing them to use
it's
clean kill.
When we look at it as South Dakota's hunting laws, we're an entirely lottery state. So you're not guaranteed to have a tag, and it's okay. Like we put in for tags. Like my wife and daughter both shoot 300 blackout for their deer rifles, and both took their deer with them and had great success with it. And whack their deers both one shot, love 300 Blackout for that. It's way more fun to shoot subs out of it than it is doing what they were doing, but they still had a blast with it and got to take deer, and it wasn't out doing cool guy stuff with super quiet rifles. It was just, hey, we're gonna shoot these with cans on them and whack a deer. And
that Blackout's a great deer round.
Are you in the bear zones, or are you still a little south for that? Like
We're in like the no quota zones. So I mean, you could technically get a tag, but they're very few and far between. So you got to go a little ways north yet for us to really get into the lottery drawing stuff. One of the ladies at the shop has a cabin about an hour and a half north of us, and they're in the bear zone. And I think her husband got one last year, and then didn't get drawn this year again, obviously for it. But yeah, you don't have to go too far. They venture their way down here quite a bit. In fact, the neighbors across the road here from me, I live right in town, and she had one. They have a trail camera in the backyard, and they had one on trail camera last year.
Cool.
Now, I know you guys do a lot of, obviously not off the wall calibers, but I mean, you guys have a crap ton of calibers for your ARs and stuff. I was noticing I don't see a lot of AR-9 stuff. I know you guys have built them in the past. Are you guys taking a break on those, or are you going away from them, or what's the whole situation?
So back when the whole pistol brace thing happened, where now you can't have them, you got to do that. Really, for us, killed the sales, and so we kind of looked at it as maybe a time for a redesign. So I know that's on the list of things to get looked at, to reintroduce. But as far as a time frame, I don't have anything super solid on that. But it's if we do it, it'll be different than just your kind of standard AR type platform.
Are you going to keep
want to redesign some stuff?
I guess the Glock magazine, because I know that's what you guys were in the past. Or you're going to go maybe like a CZ mag. I know Nick and I have this debate often. He doesn't like the Glock mags. I personally like them, but
that's because Glock mags are dumb in a rifle. Because if you're going to do it,
how many people have a Glock mags?
Exactly.
I understand that I'm not talking about how many people have Glock mags. I'm going to tell you why they're stupid. Glock mags are stupid because if you're going to run a double stack magazine, run a double stack magazine all the way through. Don't castrate it halfway at the top and make it feed weird. It'll feed more reliably and faster and more efficiently if it's a true double stack magazine all the way to the top.
I'd like to see one feed better. I'd like to see something feed better than I had this year, because I didn't have a problem with mine. So if the other ones are feeding better, it's not making a difference.
And they look dumb.
I would imagine we'll probably stick the Glock mag route, but I don't know. The engineers have they do their own thing.
Well, I appreciate that, because I'd be curious to see what you guys come up with in the future.
Curious.
From a straight business standpoint, producing an
Glock
AR-9 in anything other than Glock is dumb, because like Jason said, everybody's got them. They're cheap. The mags are cheap. The ability to put extensions on them, yeah. And then plus, ask Garth about his non-Glock rifle. I mean, he loved it.
Which one? Because I had many.
Your
MPX.
The SIG.
Yeah, the SIG. Yeah, that was fun. I had the Tombstone for a while too. That was horrible.
Yeah, but no, that's where we go through here. I just that's my always tangent of I dislike Glock mags because I'm not a Glock shooter, because Glocks eat my hand because they make them for non-normal sized human hands. They make them for children. But
says the guy who literally shoots a 3.65.
And yeah, that's my concealed carry gun, Garth.
Yeah, I know, but you're throwing a fit about Glocks and how they don't fit your hand, but then he shoots a 3.65. You're like, oh, this is great.
Well, it's because they actually looked at how a human hand worked and made one fit it. Instead of just like a 2x4.
I'm not saying it. I shoot one as well. I find it humorous. So
Yep, but you know what's not humorous? Finding good quality gear. If you're in need of reliable custom Kydex holster, Clicker Tactical is your one-stop shop. Using premium USA source material, Clicker Tactical will build you a holster in a variety of styles and colors, as well as laser and light options. Whether you're in law enforcement, a competitive shooter, or an everyday gun enthusiast, trust that Clicker Tactical will provide every firearm owner has access to top-tier and personalized holsters, as well as custom products you can't find anywhere else. Use code AR-15 podcast for 10% off at clickertactical.com.
Dr. Scary Guy, you need to get one. That was my first handgun ever. I still have it. It's fantastic. Actually, it's right there.
That was not your first handgun ever.
It was my first true handgun ever because I owned a High Point, which
don't you lie.
And I owned a Taurus Judge. But
I wouldn't admit to that.
I did. You know, I owned a Zip once. Okay, come on.
Yeah, which is Zip 22 I want to have for posterity's sake because it's like the worst gun ever, but
it was pretty dang close.
Oh, here we go. Finally tried
Glock Gen 3. So, I mean, that's 19.
Awesome. Love it.
Yep. Mick here finally tried out a Dagger Compact. Love the grip and overall feel. Yeah, now they're all going off about Glocks and Glock Megs in the chat, agreeing with me or not. But that's for the tangent. But as we get going here, we're starting to wrap up. We're getting close to an hour. Jason, you got anything to add or anything you want to talk about in closing? If anybody wants to find Alex Pro, where can they do that?
So our website, hit us up. That probably has the most information, apfarmory.com. If you want to get a hold of us via email, it's sales@apfarmory.com. Like the website's a host of great information. Aaron is actually in charge of our website and does all the design work for it and everything like that, which is pretty much a full-time job. He's got a handful with that one, but he does it great.
Yep. And then any of the socials, anything like that, all the normal big ones.
Yeah, all Twitter or X.
Artist formerly known as Twitter.
YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. APF Armory is the handle for all that stuff.
Yeah.
Are you
Nick
guys
in the chat here is saying had a few great experience with customer service. So guys in the chat.
Good. That's one thing we really strive for. That's one thing, even when we're crazy busy, that cannot slip. That is one of our really important things to us. So.
Are you guys going to be at any of the trade shows coming up this year, SHOT Show or anything like that?
Not doing SHOT Show. Aaron will actually be out in Pennsylvania at the Great American Outdoor Show coming up here. And then I'm going to be at a bunch of the what's called buy group shows, which are dealer level events where it's basically a giant trade show for dealers. And then we've got a bunch of law enforcement stuff coming up here in the coming months, and then some local events that we handle for some bigger customers here in Minnesota as well.
You guys going to be hitting up goals this year for Gun Owners of America? That'll be in Des Moines.
Don't know. Not sure. I have to look to see when that one is, and if it works, because I don't have a ton of bodies to handle shows.
August 1st and 2nd.
Everybody needs more. Yeah, it's August 1st and 2nd this year in Des Moines, Iowa. So
that makes it a little easier to think about because that's only about a 4.5 hour drive from home.
Yeah, it's closer to home.
We're willing to man booths, and we work for whiskey, so
yeah.
Be a little bit careful what you wish for, because I could use some bodies. But no, it's August is honestly kind of a crazy time of the year on the sales side in the AR world because we have, I want to say there are like 7 or 8 different events we try to attend in August. That are scattered all over the country. So my wife and kids don't really like August a whole lot because I'm not around very much, but just part of it.
Isn't there one over like in Little Falls or something like?
So that's in April. That's Rice Creek. Reed's put that event on. That is an insane event. It is awesome. It's never very nice when it's there. I mean, I'm lucky I'm inside the
That's because it's Little Falls. And I've spent enough time at Camp Ripley to know that the weather is never nice at Camp Ripley. It doesn't matter what I'm doing there.
There's been years where my guys on the range are wearing full on like rain suits and muck boots to stay out of the water. But we are burning through thousands and thousands of rounds of ammunition. We do a machine gun shoot for Reeds every year at that event. That's X amount of dollars for a 30-round mag. I want to say the first year we handled it, we went through like 30 or 40,000 rounds of ammo in 3 days. So it's just constant. I mean, we bring people just to load mags, and we have guys on the line that are just handing machine guns just back and forth the whole time.
Were you wearing
that's Aaron's job.
Aaron.
Oh yeah, we have leather gloves, the whole 9 yards for the shooters to run, because it's they get so cooked during the day. It's crazy. Aaron gets to man that on the range for me. Typically, he's kind of the guy that's out on the range handling that side of things. So
that's good for him.
Oh yeah. Oh, and he excels at that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
he's awesome with that.
But all right, well, guys, we got anything else we want to add tonight or ask before we start signing off here?
Joe?
No, I think I asked my questions.
No, yeah, you covered everything in detail and then some beyond for me. So, but that's Nick's department. So,
yeah, that's my job to get into nerd stuff, I think.
Oh, it is.
So, with that, Jason, thank you so much. Garth, you got anything you want to add before we start signing off tonight?
Yeah, 2 things. First, guys, I don't know if you guys follow them or if you buy stuff from them, but definitely go check out Patriot Patch, patriotpatch.co for all your patch needs. They have the Patch of the Month Club.
Here's
they
the
have
January
cleaning mats, which also can be used as mouse pads. And the only other person I've seen call them mouse pads is Alex Pro, and they have them on their website too. So go check those guys out. Buy their merch and buy Patriot Patch, patriotpatch.co.
Yes, indeed.
And then one more thing, Nick. I have to say thanks to Gideon, the guys at Gideon. Awesome. Got another site in the mail the other day, and because they're awesome people and they thought of me in a special way.
Now, I'm going to say this. You did not get a free site. You ordered one of your own volition and paid money for it.
Correct. I did. And then there was a special giveaway that I think I missed, but they felt sorry for me or something like that and sent me a torque set wrench, and I got that in the mail, and that's going in my gun bag. So the guys at Gideon are going above and beyond to take care of us, and I appreciate that a lot about all of them.
Yeah, so what Garth was talking about was Gideon during their Thanksgiving and after Christmas and all that stuff, they were including inch-pound torque wrenches in the orders. So when you ordered optics, you didn't wreck them by tightening them up. And when we ordered them, they threw in the Garth put in an order, and we went through, and I've ordered my own stuff from them as well before, and we get them. It's, hey, nope, we got this. And this is generally the part where I start screaming into the ether about Reese's Law and coatings on batteries, but I've done that enough lately. And getting a torque wrench was awesome, and that's a great thing that they were doing for customers where they're sending them.
I don't care what they were giving. I don't care what they were giving away. I still haven't seen a Mediator 2 or the Mediator XL. So.
Yeah, Mediator XL. I will be holding one at SHOT Show. And
I held one at GunCon. It's until I can order one, I don't believe they're ever gonna have it.
Yeah, well, Bob's listening.
Still here. So. He was in earlier, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was just talking. He was like, "WTF, bro? I didn't give you something G money." Yeah. So we definitely aren't getting one when they start shipping during SHOT Show. But all right. Well, Jason, thank you so much for coming on tonight and talking to us about Alex Pro Firearms APF. And I hope you enjoyed it and was like, oh, well, this was kind of different. And but thanks for coming on and joining us and letting all of our listeners hear more about what you guys are doing over there.
No, I really appreciate you having me on, guys. It's been fun. Great group of guys to talk to here. So it's been like it's been a blast.
Yep. Joe, anything to add here before we get done for the night?
No, like Jason said, check out their social medias and stuff like that. Check out their website, give them likes, shares, follow, stuff like that. Same with us, AR-15podcast.com, all the other socials, and anybody else within the Second Amendment.
I'm going to stop you right there quick, Joe.
You look at,
because we just got a news drop. The Mediator XL will start shipping on January 23rd.
Is it available on the website?
Well, it's not January 23rd.
It's when it starts shipping, but you should be able to order it before that.
Yeah, it's a pre-order.
That's a pre-order. Yeah. They don't do pre-orders. They do the day of.
Well, guess what I'm doing on the 23rd?
Getting drunk at the stock show.
All right. Well,
that's the week before the stock show.
Give everybody in the 2A community some love, like, share, everything like that. Keep our voices heard for the good.
Yep. Garth, you got anything to add?
No, man, say the things.
All right. Well, everyone here, you guys know what I'm about to say. I'm going to tell you what I live and die by, and that's, guys, go get training. Go get medical training. Remember, you are your own first responder. Expect to self-rescue because no one is coming to save you. And you folks out there, you stay safe and stay armed.